Hey everyone, it's February. And February is the month of love. Everybody talks about that being the month of love. So of course we want to talk about self-love in February. Self-love. I know that's a word we hear a lot and we probably don't even really know for sure what that means. But if I were going to try to define it, I would say self-love is a state of appreciation for ourselves. A state of appreciation for myself that pushes me into actions that support me physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So self-love is a state of appreciation for myself that push me into actions that support physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. That's a definition that can be taken in a lot of different ways, right? So for me, self-love means having a high regard for my own well-being. When I'm eating junk consistently, when I'm not getting up and moving around, those are some basics of not holding myself in high regard. Self-love also means taking care of my own needs and not sacrificing my own well-being to please someone else. I know there are a lot of different ways to define self-love, but those are a few ideas for what self-love looks like. And now all of us would practice self-love in different ways. And figuring out what works for you is important to your own mental health. And as you know, we all know, in the United States, we're in a mental health crisis, right? So this is important to our mental health. So just a list. Here's a quick list of 6 things that I think my self-love might look like. And you might want to grab one of them and think through how to apply it in your world. And the first one, and probably a lot of us could stop right here, but the first one is talk to and about yourself with love. Now, if we're not doing that, that's probably a great place to start. How do you talk to in your head about yourself? Is it with love? And how do you talk about yourself to others? Is it with love? It's a great place to start. Another one is prioritizing yourself. Now, I know there's a lot of priorities. I know there's lots of things to do. But when we begin to prioritize our own well-being, then that helps us with all the other things on the list, right? And then give yourself a break from self-judgment. I don't know, there's a whole nother realm there where we talk about how we got to this place of self-judgment. But give yourself a break. What would that look like to give yourself a break from your own self-judgment? And then trust yourself. That's the 4th idea. How would you start trusting yourself? Set healthy boundaries. Man, there's shelves and shelves of books about setting healthy boundaries. And then the 6th thing, forgive yourself. Now that's just a quick list. There's a lot of other things that could have been on that list, but those are ideas of what self-love might look like. And as we start practicing this self-care, this kind of self-love, we often just need to get back to the basics. I mentioned this already, but things like eating healthy, listening to our body, getting up out of the chair, moving around and stretching in the middle of our workday, or putting the phone down, or finding a creative project to pull ourselves away from whatever the screen is that we're looking at and get into a creative project. Those are all basics of self-care. And so those are a couple lists, what self-love might look like and some of the basics of self-care. As we take this whole month of February, every Wednesday at 1, we will talk about a little different aspect of self-love and what it looks like to apply it to our life. I'm Michele Gooch with Life by Design. I know that you want to live a life of fulfillment, purpose, satisfaction, and I know that we second guess ourselves and we doubt ourselves, and that gets in the way of moving us forward. So I want us to talk about self-love because it's a big piece of that. And I've created a framework, a really fabulous framework that gets us from where we are to where we want to be. And that's a privilege for me to help people do that. So if it's something you're interested in, you can find me at www.lifebydesign.guru. lifebydesign.guru. I'll see you next Wednesday at 1.